moving on from basically from one ETH token at the moment anyway to a load of others, the ICOs, man. Where do I even begin with ICOs? Because we've had China throw the ban hammer at them. We've got
Korea
startups, basically Korea as well. Yeah, they've kind of made a little stance on it. Are ICOs the way of the future for startups? Are we going to see more and more startups using the ICO business model, if we want to call it that? Someone wants to open a shop, are they going to like start an ICO? If somebody wants to like build a new car, are they going to start an ICO? Is this going to be the new way for startups and entrepreneurs to raise that capital quickly?
Yeah, of course. If you look at how much capital has been raised this year already, it's all over $1 billion. And
I lost count. I've lost count.
Exactly. But it's insane, and I mean, money is getting in so easily, and you know, people are just you know, going with the hype. Don't believe the hype, people. No. But I mean, yeah, it's an easy way to get money. Everybody's getting money via ICOs, and of course, what the governments are seeing right now is that they do not get a piece of that pie. Right, so it's a good thing also that's getting regulated, because there's also a lot of scam, of course. And to be honest, if you also look at it from a startup perspective, I really think it's also dangerous, because they can get in a lot of money. Also, if you look at EOS, they what is it, 150 million or something that they collected. So what do you need that money for? Do you really have running costs of so high? Or yeah, where do you get all those developers from? There are only 10,000 developers in the blockchain area, and they are working on a lot of projects. You need to come up with a lot of money. If you look at it percentage-wise, if you look at benchmarking, also a lot of startups fail in the first year, even more in the second, the third, and the fourth, and then in 5, just a few survive. What will that do also eventually with Ethereum, where most of the ICOs are running on? If you have a company that goes bankrupt and you need to, let's say, have liquidity to pay for your running costs and for your go-to-market strategy and all new business development, those are all running costs. At this point of time, you know, more and more are popping up. In the end, it will have a cascading effect on, let's say, 80–90% of the startups that will fail. That can also have a heavily impact on the price of Ethereum, if you may ask me, if people need to dump money on the market to pay off their debts or their bankruptcy.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point, because basically businesses are kind of interlinked. They may not even realize it, because because like, I can't remember which ICO it was, but it had like some kind of bug or some kind of problem when it launched, and it kind of caused a whole load of problems on Ethereum's blockchain, like something to do with the volume. Ethereum just crashed.
Was teasers.
Yeah, and it just crashed. Like the price just plummeted, and obviously in effect, it kind of ricocheted onto all the other little ICOs that are out there pumping as well. But it seems like that's the thing
of Ethereum, because if there is a bug in a smart contract somewhere, then it has effect on the whole network.
Yeah, and Ethereum, like always, when it does correct, like I've always said it, like it just corrects hard, man. It just it hits people hard when it does come down. When it corrects, it's lethal for Ethereum. But I mean, do you think, like, I mean, where do you think what kind of, what I'm trying to say is, what kind of nations, what nations are next in making a stance? Do you reckon like the West is going to just allow China to have the majority of say over cryptocurrency? Like, surely the West is going to kind of come up with something in retaliation to what China is saying, right? Like, China can't be allowed to kind of have all the power here, all the fun.
That's a good question. I mean, you also see it now that that Russia wants to get into the game. Yeah, I also know that Bitmain wants to get some share of hash power in the States. So they are just going abroad. Yeah. But yeah, it's difficult to say. Look, you know, you never know what's gonna happen. I think in the end, more and more countries are going to get in.
Yeah,
That's my feeling.
Yeah, I think the market is going to become more like saturated. Definitely, it'll be interesting to see like what the EU has to say about it, because I read an article where the European Central Bank admitted that they can't control any of it.
Yeah,
yeah, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be real
that's
crazy.
correct. Yeah. Mario Draghi talked about it, but also the Central Bank of Finland said that that it's impossible to regulate cryptocurrencies. So that's actually a good thing, huh?
yeah. Let them try and keep up.
Yeah.
I mean, this is another question I'm just going to throw in there. How do you think third world countries or countries with just totally destroyed currencies, how do you think they're going to benefit from this? Because if go on, carry on.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, look, I've also touched base upon that. I think a month or two ago. If we would get into adoption of cryptocurrencies, it should come from these countries, because they have a real issue. They need to live, and if you are living in Zimbabwe, then your money is worth nothing anymore. And you also see it there in the let's say premium prices that are being paid right now in Bitcoin. It's like $7,200 at the moment. If you look at Venezuela, hyperinflation is going on.
Really bad there, isn't it? It's really bad.
Exactly. So one Bolivar was worth like one Satoshi at a certain point of time. And if you look at Ukraine, also there they are facing with a lot of economical issues, and there they really need to have Bitcoin to use as cash. We here use it as a store of value, as savings and whatever. But if you have those countries really adopting it to stay alive, let's say, in combination with us here in the West and the East that are using it as a store of value and savings, then in the end it's 1 + 1 is 2. Huh?
Yeah, exactly. Like the need for us in like the West for cryptocurrency isn't as urgent as it is for those guys, because literally like Bitcoin is a lifeline for people in those countries. And if they start mining, they can basically sell that Bitcoin for like gold. They could basically just ditch the dollar totally, and just buy gold with that, and then they've got like real wealth. They've actually got like precious metals that's theirs, and they can just keep reducing this Bitcoin, mining Bitcoin. I mean, the sky's the limit with this technology.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting. But anything else you wanted to mention, and before we start to wrap this up, anything else? Any other key insights?
No, well, the thing is that I touched base on it in my video yesterday, but the thing that made me laugh was actually with regards to the first topic which we started with, was the hard fork of or the potential hard fork of Segwit2x. So have you seen that on Twitter, that there was a challenge between Charlie Lee, where he challenged Eric Voorhees of Shapeshift and Barry Silbert of the Digital Currency Group. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen the tweet. Yeah, I've seen it. And Roger Ver what in on it as well, didn't he? As well.
Yeah. So he's just using like he's doing a bet of 1,000 BTC, like poo, it's like pocket money.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's like it's crazy. It's going to be interesting.